for filming. I need a haircut. Hey au pairs! I'm Edwina.
I'm Hannah.
And today we're talking about how you can combat homesickness. I think homesickness happens to the best of us. Even when you get really good at combating it, you still get bouts of homesickness here and there.
I think that the best thing to realize is that it's a wave and you just gotta ride it out. Because once you've got through the worst of it, it's never gonna be that hard again.
So we've come up with a couple of tips that we think will help other people combat homesickness that we've learned from our experiences.
Yeah.
So for number one, I think the best surefire way to help you with homesickness is to contact your family at home not as much as you can, because sometimes if you are on your phone or on Wi-Fi contacting your family all the time, that can be counterproductive.
Yeah.
But checking in, even now I call my parents, you know, once a day to check in, see how they are, even if it's for 2 minutes. It's just a nice way to know that someone somewhere is thinking about you.
In Paris, in my chambre de bonne, I used to have a phone, so I'd be on the phone to my mum in my free hours, just like, they can't hit me again. And that was really nice, because obviously no one knows how to parent better than your parents.
And I think that you can say the same thing in terms of your friends, keeping in contact with very close friends, but during your au pair year, especially if you're going at the age of 18 or even 22, you gain an appreciation for your family that you just didn't have before, because they became my rock when I was going through crap with my host family. They just were my consistency, and they were there for me whenever I needed them, and they gave me good advice that I definitely appreciated at the time.
I actually think talking to your friends at home too often though can make you more homesick. I would be waiting around to speak to people rather than going out and meeting new friends, because I just miss them a lot.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's kind of better to just realise, like, okay, I'll still be friends with my friends when I get home, but for now I should try and, tip number two, meet new people.
Yeah, you meet new people and find your community. And that is probably the hardest but the best tip that we can provide, I think.
Yeah.
Because once you find your community, whether it's through something like meetup.com, Facebook, finding your group of people,
or even just one
or a
person,
club, or one person, it just makes everything so much better.
I think finding community is something which you need to kind of commit to. It's not an easy thing. Like, I thought I would just fall into it, and it wasn't until after Christmas that I was like, right, I need to meet a big group, oh, not a big group of people, but a group of people now, because I had like a couple of really good friends, but I was like, I need that steady community. And then I met you, and I didn't leave your side. Number three is to get to know your local area rather than just gallivanting off to the other side of the city and thinking, I'm gonna get to know Paris. Because when you're on your own in those first few weeks, it feels really exciting to be able to just travel to the other side of the city. But it actually makes you feel kind of more alone. If you stay in your local area and get to know the shops and the people that are around, you can use that as a base and then not get lost as much, or get lost a bit, but in a nice way, and then slowly work your way out towards the outskirts of Paris.
And I think that going off of that, finding your one place that's nearby you that you can consistently go to and make your own helps so much. Having your cafe where you know the barista and you have your regular order it creates this little home within your city that can definitely help you combat homesickness.
Agreed. I would too often just go to a Starbucks that was on the other side of town because I couldn't find a coffee shop, and I wish I'd instead just researched whatever I was interested in, like coffee shops for us, but maybe that's like, I don't know, rock climbing places or yoga classes,
or like a restaurant, you know. But I mean, it is very French to be in a cafe, so think about that. The next way to combat homesickness is
to go home for Christmas. We've already talked about this in a previous video, but I actually found that going home for Christmas, I was so homesick in the lead up to going home. When I went home for those 2 weeks, so quite a long time, I realised, I am enjoying what I'm doing actually, and I would quite like to go back. So when I finally got back to the city, I was like, this is my life now.
I was one of those au pairs that tried to stick it out the whole time, and I was like, I can make it 12 months without going home. But then I was like, no, help me, I want to go home for Christmas. And I ended up going home, and it ended up being such a reboot for me, and I was able to go back and be a better au pair than I was before Christmas.
Yeah, having breaks makes a big difference.
I think my next tip is maybe get out of the city for a while and keep yourself busy by going on a little trip or a day trip, or have an activity or an adventure that you can look forward to that will maybe keep your mind off of things if homesickness is really bad.
Yeah.
And forcing yourself to get out, go with people, socialize, have an activity, go rock climbing, go to a castle outside of Paris. There are a bajillion things you can do in Paris. And if you sit in your bed all day and watch Netflix, that's probably the worst thing that you can do when you are homesick, because it'll just make you feel more lonely and sad and depressed.
If you have any other homesickness tips, then let us know in the comments below, or tweet them to us, or submit your stories to aupairoparis.com.
Subscribe and like our channel if you think that we are providing value to you and other au pairs, and we will see you next week with another video. Ciao!